Month number 1 is nearing a close in the USHL, and that means the action is only heating up around America's only Tier 1 junior hockey league. I'm Chris Treft, and this is The U Show. We entered this past week with 2 undefeated teams still remaining. Team USA's U17s had their sights on cutting that number in half as they hosted the unbeaten Dubuque Fighting Saints on Saturday night. Team USA got the scoring started with a 5-on-3 goal scored by Sasa Pastajov. The Jackson twins, along with Matt Copperud, brought the Saints back to even after the puck hit Copperud in the face and went right to Ty, who buried his 3rd of the season. Dubuque had a golden opportunity to take the lead, but Gibson Homer made a huge pad stop on a Saints 2-on-0. After the momentum from the big save, the U17 struck for 2 straight goals in the second period. First, Ty Gallagher with a shot that went in off a fortuitous bounce, followed by Jack Devine a few minutes later. Mark Chimetta responded for the Saints with a big goal in the later part of the second period to make it a 1-goal hockey game once again. Devine notched his 2nd of the game to recollect the USA 2-goal lead in the 3rd period. Then the Saints, who have been resilient all season long, coming from behind late in games, did it again. First, Reese Gaber made it a 4-3 hockey game with a nice deflection on the power play and the goalie pulled. And then Matt Copperud banged in a rebound to tie the game with under 3 to go. We went to OT as Dubuque moved their point streak to start the season to 7 games, but needed the next goal to stay unbeaten. Gaber would split the D with a nice move, but just missed when Team USA went the other way, looking for the win.
Back the other way as they disengage. Left wing and over the line. Lucius out in front, scores! And USA wins it in overtime.
Waterloo would go on to lose later that night as well, as the USHL has no more unbeaten teams this season. The victory not only gave Dubuque their first defeat, but kept the U17's hot streak alive as they closed out a perfect and very impressive weekend with their 3rd straight victory. On Sunday, the league had just 1 game with all eyes on Madison and Green Bay. The 2 teams put on a show in the Battle of Wisconsin. Ryan O'Reilly got the opening tally and a nice play off the rush. This was matched just 37 seconds later by Benito Posa to give the Gamblers the 2-0 lead. The Madison power play has been the pulse of their offense so far this year, and they struck again on the man advantage with a Ryan Kerwin blast. At the end of a hectic first period, Gustav Mueller registered his 2nd goal of the season with under a second remaining to close out a crazy first period with the buzzer beater. For the next 2 periods, the goalies were outstanding. A scoreless 2nd and 3rd was not due to a lack of chances, but the fact that both netminders were dialed in and near impossible to beat. The impressive work from Green Bay's Nicholas Grabko and Madison's Simone Latkozy sent the game to overtime. OT was the same narrative as the goalies were awesome and sent the game to a shootout. Ryan Kerwin shot first and put the first puck into a net since the first period. Latkozy continued his career night, stopping all 3 shots and winning the game for the Caps. The Slovakian netminder's amazing performance ended the losing skid for the Capitals and gave them some momentum going forward. It's never too early to take a look at the playoff race, so here are the standings after the first month in the USHL. Chicago leads the East with points in 8 of their first 10 games. Dubuque sits in 3rd, even though they have points in every game, but has games in hand on everyone as they've only played 7 contests so far this season. Waterloo suffered their first loss of the year last weekend, which opened the door for the Lincoln Stars to continue their great start and move into a tie with the Hawks at 14 points for the top spot in the West. What games are can't miss coming up this weekend, you ask? I got you covered, don't worry. Here are the matchups to check out for this weekend. On Friday night, the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders travel to Lincoln to take on the Stars at the Icebox. The Stars look to stay shining and advance their point streak to 5 games. Cedar Rapids has cooled off a little bit as of late, but still continue to score goals in bunches and are hungry to get back in the win column. On Saturday evening, the Chicago Steel will host the Waterloo Blackhawks at Fox Valley Ice Arena in a battle of the Titans. Depending on the result from the previous night, this will be a battle of the top teams in each conference. This, without a doubt, will be a thrilling matchup between 2 Clark Cup contenders. As always, we have a free game each week on HockeyTV.com. This week, you can catch Youngstown at Muskegon on Saturday at 7:05 Eastern Time. Well, that will do it for this week's episode. Don't miss any of the USHL action this weekend, and I will talk to you next week. I'm Chris Treft, and this was The U Show.